My theory, from what I gather pertaining to this tech, is no one's an expert. My theory. There may be one or two potentially, but my vibe is no one is an expert. If they don't know how to authenticate with the readings they're receiving from a computer, reading the readings they're reading on a computer from devices in my brain and my body, from my mind, etc., no one is an expert. If they don't know how to identify authentic telepathy versus manufactured telepathy, for instance, me thinking something versus someone saying something to me that then comes to awareness and comes out in my output, no one's an expert. Uh, and people don't know how to tell the frame squad tactics and identify them, whether it was manufactured and in a evidence-based manner, not guessing, or being the frame squad guy and knowing you used a frame squad tactic instead of it being natural. If they don't know how to identify a frame squad reading from a natural reading, no one's an expert. If you don't know where the device is placed, what it's made of, how they made it, that also takes more away from your expert status. Um, hmm, if you don't understand how it works, the neurophysiological, anatomical um, reasoning behind the tech, you're probably not an expert. But yeah, that's a key point. If you don't even know how to authenticate if what you're reading is authentic or not, or what you're what you're monitoring on a computer that comes from someone's brain, body, etc. If you don't know how to authenticate it from the telepathy, the mind output to the eye output to the neurophysiological cues, and you don't have an evidence-based way to distinguish between manufactured versus authentic, you're not an expert. So and if they're not experts and they don't even know how to do those things, I wouldn't be wasting your time with that tech or trusting such tech, especially in legal matters, political, financial matters, as you could be manipulated and people could be robbed for trillions of dollars, amongst other things, be slandered, be harmed, be murdered for no reason, etc., etc. So be wary with that. But that's a key point. Think about what other other criterion would be needed to say someone's an expert, and also to say that this technology could be used um, in a criminal court of law or whatever law. Also, not to mention, if you don't know the dangers of the tech, you're not an expert. If you don't have evidence-based proof to prove that it's harmless, you can't make that statement. I'm pretty sure an expert would know every consideration, every potential, and every consequence of the tech, from Alzheimer's to Parkinson's to various neurological conditions, for example, to cancer, to God knows what else. Um, if they don't, they're probably not an expert. So keep that in mind. Praise Jesus.